Monique, it's amazing to find women that are so talented, so accomplished, have so much going on and so many different interests. But let's start with basketball because it makes sense to start there. Tell me what drew you to the game initially.
Well, when I was a young girl, around the age of like 5, my dad asked me if I wanted to play with some of my friends from school. And at first I really didn't want to play because I've always been super girly, and he told me if I played I wouldn't be able to wear my dress because I used to only wear dresses. So I wanted to make him proud. I tried it out, ended up loving it, and here I am 21 years later still playing.
What do you remember about the first time you picked up a basketball?
I remember not knowing what I'm doing, just being out there. I've always been very athletic, pretty tall, so I remember just running hoop to hoop, and if I'd get the ball occasionally, like, oh, I should throw it at the basket, not even knowing how to shoot, but just being free and just having fun. That's what I remember.
So it was always fun for you, at least in the early parts, but when did you feel like you really fell in love with the game?
As I've gone throughout my journey, I feel like I just continue to fall in love with it, and I think that's what's happened for me. My family has been so involved with my process, so that has helped me to love it more because they've been going through this with me. So I feel like I've always just kind of loved it and continue to fall in love with it.
How's your connection with your dad grown in knowing that he was the one who first introduced you to the game, as you referenced?
So my dad, God bless his soul, he passed from ALS just a few months ago. But he has blessed me so much to have this game, and so I try to honor his legacy every single day by just being the best that I can. His favorite quote was, "Be better than yesterday, not as good as tomorrow." So that's my favorite quote now that I've inherited from him. But yeah, we had an amazing connection through basketball. I would talk to him after every single game, before every single game. So I do feel him in spirit when I play, and I'm just happy that I have his legacy to live on.
I know he's so proud still, and I know he was before. You said be better than yesterday, not as good as tomorrow. So when you think about that and how you apply that in your commitment and dedication to this game, what does that look like?
I mean, it's just chasing after greatness, but it's just chasing after your best. Not every single day you're gonna feel 100%, and I've realized that. And so if I feel 60% one day, I'm gonna give 100% of that 60%. If I feel 85%, I'm gonna give 100% of that 85%. But just always striving to be my best, and just like I said, chasing greatness, making those around me proud because they've all helped me to get to where I'm at today, and making myself proud above all.
When you think about what this game has brought you and how you've watched yourself change, grow into the woman that you are today, what do you think were the most important pieces along your journey that led you to this point?
I owe everything to the pioneers who've come before me and who've given me this opportunity to play basketball. 20 years ago, women weren't being interviewed, women athletes weren't being interviewed or having these types of opportunities just to showcase their stories and just talk, and so it's a wonderful thing being able to grow up, I would say, in this generation where we see the bar moving, and I hope 20 years to come it moves even more, so young girls who are watching me can have even more opportunity.
You mentioned those young girls. What kind of role model do you think you are?
I've been thinking about that a lot, like what kind of impact do I want to make in my life and just in the life of other people. So I think that's something that's really important for me, but I want to be what I didn't have when I was growing up. So when I was growing up playing basketball, I didn't really see the feminine side. I didn't see that you can be both. You could be a beast on the court, but you can also be a feminine woman. And so I hope to bring that to the stage or platform wherever I'm at, and I hope for young girls to see that in me as a role model.
How often does it feel like you even look back on moments, I know I do, where I say, wow, I was kind of making myself less than to make someone else more comfortable? How have you gotten to the point where you feel really confident in saying, I'm not gonna water myself down, I'm not gonna change myself to make you feel better?
I think it's just self-talk though. Every time I go into a room, I'm very tall, I take up a lot of space. I have to remind myself that it's okay to take that space. Just allow myself to show up in every way that God has created me to. I'm very bubbly and I'm outgoing, but I also have like an introverted side. So I'm learning now just to embrace those different sides at different moments, but also nurture sides of myself. Like I said, the more quieter, shy side of myself, nurture that as well. And so if I walk into a room, just again, being the best version of myself, showing up how I want to show up, and not letting other people's energy affect my energy.
You mentioned nurturing yourself. You're very into self-care, and honestly, being a professional athlete, that's a big piece of your business. That's a big piece of what you're able to do to continue to show up on the court every day and play at the high level that you play at. But why are you so passionate about self-care?
I feel like I'm a really introspective person, so every day I'm just like evaluating how do I feel, like how do I really feel, and I don't want to mask that by anything. I wrote a whole book about this, but just, just having just wellness, knowing who I am outside of what I do. So yes, I'm a basketball player, but I'm a human being first. I'm a woman first, and there's so much that goes into all of that. Every single day is different. I have to pour into myself in different ways. I have to ask people around me, my community, my tribe, to also pour into me in different ways. And then asking those around me, like, how's your spirit? You know what I mean? Just, I think check-ins with ourselves, with others, I think that's super important, and that helps me to stay balanced just on a day-to-day basis.
Who are some of your role models, even some other people that have really affected you?
I have to shout out to my mom. Shout out to my mama. She's just so strong. God-fearing woman, has raised my sister and I, and just has put on a great example for us, and she still continues to do so. I love how our relationship just continues to build and grow. I had my dad, and we would talk about basketball, and that was like our thing, and that's never been me and my mom's thing, but like we're finding our thing, which I like that. So shout out to my mama.
What accomplishment are you most proud of?
I would say the accomplishment I'm most proud of just making it to where I'm at today. It's been a journey, and I feel like I'm just barely scratching the surface. I think I have so much more to offer and to give, and I'm very focused on living out my purpose every single day as much as I can. And I don't think basketball is the end for me. I feel like that's just the beginning, and I don't know where God will take me, where life will take me, but I'm just proud of making it to where I'm at today and being a positive example.
I think a lot of people would look at you, especially young girls, and say, oh, I want to be like her. I mean, shoot, I want to be like you. But everyone's journey has its own challenges, and there's adversity that you have to overcome. And how would you describe the ways that you got past adversity in your own journey?
I'm still dealing with stuff like that. And those are real things that we go through, especially with social media. You compare when you see other people doing well. And of course you're happy for other people, but it's so hard when you want to go to a certain place and you see someone already there. My biggest thing is just focus on the journey, and there's going to be bumps, there's going to be bruises. There has been, but they were necessary. They were like lessons, to teach me, to equip me, to get me to where I need to go. And so embracing all of that throughout my journey.
What are you enjoying most about being a female athlete in this day and age?
I would say I'm enjoying the lives that I get to touch, especially playing overseas. Like I play in the States, but also playing overseas. I am around so many different types of people all over the world. I love just being able to have an impact. Again, I talked about purpose. Like I just want to live out my purpose every single day.
That's great advice for anything, right?
Yes, right? That's just life advice.
Really good advice. You mentioned what this sport, basketball, could look like for women in 20 years, but overall, when you think about female athletes in 20 years, what do you hope for them?
I hope that they have more exposure. I hope that they are recognized, acknowledged. I hope that there is equal pay, and I feel like there will be. And I'm so like excited and positive just for the next wave and next generation of women, because like if you see where we come from, the women, we have to pay respect to the women who've come before me. That's why I have this opportunity that I do to play basketball. Women weren't compensated at a certain point at all. They weren't given opportunities. They sometimes probably didn't even have uniforms, when they figured it out and really thugged it out and got to a point, to where they got us to a good place. And so I hope that the generation that I'm with right now, we can get the next generation to a good place. And like I said, I feel very optimistic about it. I hope that women can make millions and millions per season, by playing basketball and just all sports in general.
Yeah, I hope for that too. And I think what you're doing already is leading us to that point, which is incredible. You're going to be able to look back in your lifetime and say, yeah, I was part of paving that way for these women. And it's so incredible. And Monique, we just thank you so much for sharing your story here. You are affecting so many women positively.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.